Thanks for showing up, for coming for the live session. Alright, well, it's 11:11, so I'm going to get started. So, yeah, since there's some people who are watching this recorded, hello, my name is Jaja Leverett, if you don't know me. I teach yoga, meditation, and I read tarot cards, but I also have my own witchcraft practice that is very special to me. I am by a busy street, so we got some big buses going by, but I really wanted to be in nature today, specifically, one is raining, because rain is awesome, but also because this whole class is all about nature and how important it is for your spiritual practice with witchcraft. So, but before we begin, I like to take a moment to ground myself before these classes start. So sometimes I'll bring out Palo Santo or sage. So if you have that, feel free to go grab some and burn it. But I think I just need a deep breath of this fresh air. So take some deep breaths, big belly breathing. Really settle into this space of learning and receptivity. Feel connected to the earth. Maybe plant both of your feet on the ground and really feel supported by the earth, the ground beneath you. Well, I feel good and ready. So let's begin. Witchcraft and nature, why do they come together? Well, if you've been watching my other classes, we know that witchcraft is the science and art of using your subconscious mind and the cycles of the universe to your advantage. And there's really no other way to observe the cycles of the universe without going out into the world and watching those cycles. You know, when you go outside, you can see these cycles very easily. You know, right now it's raining. That's part of the, the rain cycle, precipitation, all that good stuff. If you just watch, right now, birds, they're migrating. That's a cycle every year that they go through. They're all coming north for the summer. And, yeah, so observing these cycles, being really aware of them, can not only just help you understand the world around you, but there's really no way to really expect yourself to be able to observe your own cycles, your own patterns, because your witchcraft practice is very, unique to yourself. Every person has their own, subconscious mind that has been, crafted throughout your life, impacted through your own experiences, your own mental health, your own, just who you are. So each person has their own, their own relation to certain things. So, for example, green, for most people it mean money, but a lot of people might think, nature. And then together, that kind of combines to prosperity work. So basically, it's very unique for each person. So you have to be able to observe yourself. And how can you expect to observe yourself, which is very kind of, it's invisible. Your brain, you can't really see your subconscious. You can't really see these things. It's very hard to pick up on your own patterns, to pick up on your own, your own conscious brain, what it's doing, if you can't even really see what's tangible. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't see your own patterns without leaving your house. I feel like yes, you can, but it's going to be a lot harder if you can't even observe these in the physical realm right here. The world is impacting you every single day. Weather impacts people. People who have seasonal affectiveness disorder, in the winter, way more depression. It's just, you don't get enough vitamin D, you're not in the sunshine enough, you're not leaving the house, and it really affects lots of people. I think most people have seasonal affectiveness disorder. I think very few people are lucky enough to not. Because, once again, everything is affecting you, and there's a cycle that everybody is in tune with. So, connecting with nature is very important because it helps you practice with your own cycles. Not only that, but it connects you to, the energies of the universe. You are part of the universe, so, it's kind of nice to see how you play a part in it. And you can interact with it very easily if you put in a little effort. So I want to give you guys, some examples of really fun ways to just connect with nature and kind of get in tune with those cycles. Yeah, so basically, if you don't have any experience being outside, observing, you're not going to have very good sight, very good vision. So, for example, my dad, he grew up in the English countryside, and there's lots of forests, and every day, apparently, he has told me that he would just, go through the forest, and that's just what he'd do all day. He'd bring his dog and just, run around a forest. And then in his 20s, he backpacked through jungles and all that stuff. So when me and him go out in nature, he can spot things way faster than I can. So we'll just be hiking along, and he'll just be like, "Oh, hey, check out that owl." What? Where? Oh, check out that raccoon just hanging out in that tree. What? And he has that vision because he's had practice. He can see what's happening because he's just done it a lot. Then on the other hand, me, while I'm not as experienced, compared to people who've only really hung out in the city, haven't really spent a lot of time in nature, I can see things more than a lot of my friends who just kind of, live in the city and don't push themselves into nature. So, there's kind of like levels to it. That was just a woodpecker. Hi, woodpecker. Oh, so cute. So yes, we want to practice those skills. It is a skill. It's a muscle you have to exercise. Because once you notice those cycles in the universe, you can use them to your advantage. So like the moon phases, the seasons, we want to work with these energies. We don't want to fight them. Yeah. So, I wrote down a bunch of things that you can do. You don't want to get stuck in the mundane human rat race, basically, of just, going to work, making that money, making your bread, and then going to sleep. That's not a very special life, I don't think. I think it's a reality for a lot of people, but, it's, yeah, we can change that. So I think the number one thing that is important for connecting to nature is just going outside every day. Even if you just, sit on your porch or on your front steps with your coffee in the morning. If you don't have a place where you can sit in your, on the outside of your house, even just sticking your head out the window, obviously safely. You don't want to fall out. But, yeah, and just kind of getting that fresh air. I know, especially in quarantine, this is going to be really tough for a lot of people, but, if you have a backyard, you are blessed. I don't really have a backyard. I kind of just have like an alley. But I do have a park across the street, so I've been trying to use that more and more. But yeah, sitting outside, just being able to notice little details in your neighborhood even. So I know, especially in the city, there's not very much going on nature-wise. But that's kind of a good thing for training that eye, because you have to notice the tiny things to really notice anything at all. So, you can sit back and notice which little house sparrows are showing up, or, what kind of bugs are happening right now in this, area. When do the mosquitoes start showing up in the summer, what tiny little plants are popping up through the cracks of your sidewalk. Just little tiny details. I recommend, on your daily excursion to the outdoors, to look at the ground, look at the trees, and look at the sky. Like right now, I'm looking at the sky. It's very cloudy. It's actually very bright. And it's raining. And that's something to just, know in my heart is happening. And it actually makes me feel more grounded, more safe, more strong, just knowing what's happening around me. The trees aren't really blooming yet. Actually, wow. No, the tree across the street kind of is. I see little tiny buds. Look at that. Wow. And if I looked at the ground, I bet I could see worms or puddles. And I'm a bit far away from the ground. But yeah, so just getting outside, getting that fresh air, noticing how different the air feels outside from inside. Inside air tends to be more stale, You can always open up your windows and let that air in too. But even in the middle of winter, I really recommend getting out. If you live in the Midwest or somewhere where you have all seasons of the year, I don't think it's fair to be mad at the winter. Like, you're living here. What do you expect? Put on some layers. You don't really need like the most expensive winter coat. You kind of just need lots and lots of layers, blankets, whatever. But sit in it, feel that temperature, that cold or that hot, or the rain right now. I'm feeling a little drips here and there, but yeah. Oh yeah, when you look at the sky, make sure you check out the moon if you can see it. See what phase it's in. That's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind, because if it's a full moon, you know that you have more strength right now. You have more power. If it's a new moon, what should you be releasing? What should you be, letting go? Or if it's past the new moon and it's growing into the full moon and it's waxing, then, what could you be building on? What could you start some momentum on? So it's good to know what moon phase it is as well. Not just the sun phase, what season it is. Ah, the woodpecker's back. Hello. Yeah, take walks in your neighborhood. Notice those signs. Notice what's happening. If you're by the lake or an ocean or whatever, you're really lucky to be so close to some water. Maybe you can see some animals, see some, what's going on, what's happening in nature. It's really fun to feel like, I've got this relationship with the earth, and I know what's happening. If somebody asks me what moon phase it is, I know. It's, or I saw some fish today. What? Who looks at fish? Very few people. I don't know, just an example. Yeah, in the rain, I actually really recommend going in the rain, because without an umbrella, every once in a while, of course if it's warm enough, you don't want to get sick. So, yeah, get drenched in the rain every once in a while. And just, don't fight it. I know a lot of times I go out in the rain and I don't want to be wet, so I fight it and I get all like, but every once in a while, purposely go out in it and allow yourself to get wet. And it's very freeing, first of all, to be like, oh my gosh, haha, you don't have power over me. I am one with you instead. And, it's also very cleansing to be drenched in a natural body of water, and I consider rain, body of water. if you can't dunk yourself in the lake, especially like in Chicago, the lake is closed. Rain is, right up there with a natural resource for you to use. And, water is ruled by the emotional sphere of your life, and water rules your subconscious. So if you're having trouble with your divination, with your emotions, you're just feeling sad these days, maybe take a dip in the lake if you have access to it, or a pond or whatever, or go out in the rain and imagine and visualize the things that don't serve you washing away, and visualize yourself absorbing that power for your gut, that intuition. Check the time. Alright. We've got about 12 more minutes. If there is a tree you really like across the street in that park, they have some beautiful trees, and when it's dry enough, or if you bring like a little tarp, just sit under the tree, connect with their roots, especially if you're feeling lots of anxiety, if you're feeling like you're dissociating. Sitting by a tree and being aware of the roots can help you feel more attached, more alive, more real. And, trees are your friend. Give them a hug. Connect with those roots, that root system. And those roots do kind of, it's a community in the whole area. These roots spread. You can imagine it like spread through all of Chicago, or all of wherever you are, because there are plants everywhere, touching everywhere, and it's like blood, your blood system, cardiovascular system. There we go. You can visualize that as like the energy, the blood of the earth, those roots. So trees are your good friends. Touch flowers, touch grass when you see it. When you see a flower on the street, don't pick it. It's not your property. Let the people who actually planted those plants, let them keep it. But you can still touch the plants and feel the softness of their petals, and hold it in your hand, and connect with that beauty that you don't get to see every day. Hello. Connect with that. Honestly, if you see a dog and the owner is okay with you petting that dog, pet a dog as you pass on the street, because the goal here is to disconnect from that human, we live in a society, from that human society that we're kind of part of. We don't want to be doing that in our spiritual practice. We want to be connecting with what's natural. Man, these woodpeckers keep getting so close to me. Less than 10 feet away. Like petting a dog even, that's not a human. They don't go to work. They get excited when they sniff something interesting, or when they see a cool bird, That's an energy that you can feed off of. Pet that dog. Touch that plant. Run your fingers over some bark or some grass and really feel it. It's real. You want to use your fingertips because they're a tool you can use to feel more connected. And you do share energy with touch. So touch is very important. If you can, picnic in nature. Spend more than just a few minutes, just walking through an area. Sit in that area. Allow yourself to just be a part of it, and you can just be eating your food and just observing, what's happening around you, just being connected to that earth in that way for a longer period of time. So even if it's not a picnic, bring some snacks, go to a park, find the most secluded area with the most amount of animals. Yeah, lots of parks are still open in quarantine. Just, bring your mask in case people come too close to you. And allow yourself to feel that fresh air and that connection. OMG. Camp. If you have the opportunity and the ability to camp, take advantage of it. Because there is kind of no better way than to really submerge yourself in nature than to submerge yourself in nature. Yeah, obviously you want to start easy so that you don't hate camping. I think a lot of people push themselves too hard, and they don't really know where to start, where to stop, and so they just go and rough it, and then they're like, I hate camping, it's horrible. Well, you gotta build up to the more, difficult levels of camping. But, start off at a camping ground. Start off maybe even in a cabin. That way, there's not really much to distract you inside of where you're staying, but there's still an opportunity to be outside, and there's still an opportunity to feel safe, and feel safe that there are people around you, so that might help too. And usually campsites have, bathrooms and stuff like that, and then eventually you can work your way up to camping in the middle of nowhere, and having no one around you, and just really being submerged in nature. Yeah. Immerse yourself. Yeah, and finally, get an outdoor hobby. If I have a whole list of hobbies you can do. I camp. And I bird watch. Those are probably my main outdoor hobbies. So camping, very much all-inclusive. All of your senses are being used when you camp. But bird watching is really great because that's another cycle you can watch. You can become a part of. And, like I said, going outside daily and observing, that's where you start. You can sit outside and watch some birds, and then eventually certain times of the year you'll notice this bird is never around. What are you? Yeah, bird watching! Woo! Yes, we should go bird watching sometime, by the way, once this corona is over. But it is a great way to just understand what is happening. And it's not just in your city with birds, especially, because they migrate the whole planet, at least a lot of the birds that are coming through right now, they hang out in, Mexico. These birds are bringing energy from all over the world. And there's other different things that you can watch. So, bug watching. Bug watching is actually really interesting, and I'm considering starting it. We'll see. Because, actually, bug watching is what inspired Pokemon. So, if you like Pokemon, that might be a good place to start. Yeah, the creator of Pokemon was a bug collector, a bug, observer. And, yeah, it's a great way to notice, what kind of, larvae are popping up right now. Ooh, I can see a cicada shell. There must be cicadas around. Or you can hear them. You can hear the buzzing of all the bugs around you. And, once it's quiet in the middle of winter and you're noticing those bugs are gone, it really sets in. Hi, Rachel. Hello. Yeah, so some other hobbies that are awesome. Orienteering, with a map and your compass and just exploring, getting oriented in your surroundings is really powerful. To be able to, once again, it's kind of like a cycle that you can use to your advantage, is that cycle is every time you go into this forest, most likely the same things are going to be in the same place. So you can, that's an expectation you can have and use to your advantage, and you can, find places that really bring you joy and go back to them. So maybe there's a particular rock you love and it just feels special and you can sit on that rock. Or there's a special tree that you love to climb and you can always find your way back there. Bushcraft, awesome. I don't do too much of it, but my dad does. But it's, using your surroundings to survive, basically. So, building your your home for the night in the middle of the forest with the forest. So, you can use mud or sticks or whatever, stuff like that. Hiking, kind of like orienteering. You get to explore and really become connected with this area and feel the energy. And you can explore a bunch of different places. You can hike mountains, and each place that you go has a whole different energy. So whether you're hiking a beach path or a mountain or some kind of canyon or desert, depending on how far you want to go, it has totally different energies that you can tap into and observe. So if you have an opportunity to do that, do it. Especially if you can travel, go and do that. Because right now, being outdoors is really good for you, because not only do you get that fresh air, it's good for your lungs, but it's away from other people, and it's not in your house driving yourself up the wall. You're allowed to be outdoors right now as long as you're not gathering in a group. So going on a hike, as long as you're safe, maybe not by yourself, but maybe somebody in your family. You don't want to be in the woods by yourself in the middle of nowhere where you don't know. You want to be with somebody. But if you know the area, that might be nice to do that by yourself, some self-care. But, bring bear deterrent if you're in bear area, or, stuff like that. Rock climbing, awesome. Gotta love some rock climbing. I know a lot of parks have rock climbing walls, so you can practice there, and then maybe just climb around. Of course, once again, be safe, maybe wear a helmet. But, you can connect to, you really have to hold on, and sometimes your whole body is just plastered to this wall, and you can feel the, it's kind of like you're hugging the earth. And, you can understand, like, where's a safe place to hold on to, where's a not safe place to hold on to, and you can kind of, like, connect to certain energies, like the goat energy. Goats, they can climb effortlessly, and you can connect to that. Goats are pretty cool. Swimming. Yes. Swimming is awesome. Once again, like I said, with the rain, submerging yourself in water, allowing those energies to wash away, and you can also absorb the good stuff. Swimming is just it's a very easy way to just instantly be submerged in nature, because you're literally submerged. Biking, you can bike through areas that are full of nature, and you can see the sights. Yeah, it's fast, but you can see more of it, and you can go places where you can't really reach by foot a lot of times, because less energy to get there. Also like with skating and stuff like that, any kind of, skateboard, rollerblading, anything like that, that can get you someplace that you probably wouldn't be able to get to on your own, is very awesome, because you can start to explore new areas, and, you can bike to a forest preserve, or skate to a park that's usually out of your limits, and, so pick up a good hobby that really gets you into nature, and start to feel those different energies in different areas. Start to connect with cycles of weather and nature, and just start to observe, because that's going to be really helpful for you when you're trying to observe yourself. What kind of cycles do I go through? When do I start to get defensive? When do I start to get, sad or happy? And how can I use those patterns to my advantage? How can I notice, oh, this is about to happen? Or every time I do this, this happens, and I want that to happen, so how about I do that one thing? Like, if every time you do a little dance, it brings you joy, which to most people it would, and you're feeling really sad, you can use that to your advantage and be like, you know, I think people think witchcraft is a lot more extreme or a lot more complicated than it really is, but it's quite simple. You're just using what you know, what works, and using it to your advantage. So, you know, if you have a headache, you're going to use some, you know, maybe Aleve or aspirin. That's, you know, that's witchcraft. You're using a chemical to change your brain. You know, you are, or your body. You know, if you see it's sunny outside, you know that's when it's time to go outside. You know, you see it's rainy, maybe you stay inside. You know, these patterns that you get into habit. And yeah, don't fight the cycles. If it's a full moon, maybe not the best time to start a new project. Maybe focus on a project you've already started. You know, if it's spring, maybe it's not a good time to like stop what you've been working on for the past month or two. Keep going, push yourself. Yeah, so that's all I have today. Thanks for showing up. I know it was a lot different than my other few weeks. You know, no symbols or anything, but hello. But I think it's really important to connect with nature, and to not forget that it's your friend and it's there to help you. And yeah, so let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll be live for a few more minutes. If you want to leave a question for me, even if it's not related to what I was talking about today, that's fine. I will try to answer anything that I have knowledge on. But yeah, if you want to support me, down below I have a pinned comment, so you could support me on Patreon. Last night I just uploaded all of my lives, but I cut out the beginning where I'm just waiting around, so it starts right away. My Patreon, I also started uploading videos that are exclusive to just Patreon supporters. But if you don't want to do a recurring monthly payment, I understand. You can do, I have coffee on there, I have Cash App, I have Venmo, PayPal, I've got everything. Also, if you don't have the money, I understand. Coronavirus is being a little jerk right now, and, you know, I get it. So just feel free to like and comment on my videos, share them, share my page. That would be a huge help. But, yeah. I'll wait around for a couple more minutes. Any questions? Any comments? Let me know what you're doing today, by the way. I wanna know. I'm kind of like, you know, just like you. I'm on my own. I mean, I'm with my parents. They're awesome, but you know. I haven't seen any friends, so let me know what you're doing. How's it going? How's it hanging? Do you have plans today? Are you gonna go out in nature? Let me know. It does take about 30 seconds for the questions or comments to, you know, show up on my phone, so sadly I don't get them in live time, I don't think. A few times people have asked me questions and then I end it, and then I don't see it till after I end it, and I'm like, come on, Facebook. Biked yesterday. Oh, awesome, yes! And over the industrial canal, I love it. Yeah, that's perfect. You know, going by the river, seeing that flow, that's a great way to visualize energy coming in and out of the city. And you're lucky you have some warm weather, Angela, down in New Orleans. Megan, do you think that spring cleaning is sort of kind of like witchcraft? Yes. Like, that's why everyone does it, because it really is the right time. Yes, totally. So, my mom's watching too, so she knows. We just spring cleaned our kitchen, like, deep cleaned. Oh my gosh. But it's a perfect time, because one, I mean, we're home right now for Corona anyway, but also, you know, spring is the time of rebirth, refreshing, and renewal. So, This is when the earth is starting to become alive again. And spring cleaning, you get rid of the old from last year. It's like, no, everything that's left over still. I think fall cleaning is also a really good idea. But spring cleaning is kind of like, you're ready for a new start. You're ready for, little buds to appear on the plants and trees, and it's a great time to just, kick all that old stuff that's not serving you to the curb. And, a good thing to do is when you're cleaning to visualize you are, spraying, degreasing, whatever, and then you're wiping away all of what doesn't serve you, anything that you don't want. And so, that could be anxiety, sadness. Maybe your house is a place where things have happened, it reminds you of things, wipe it away, get rid of it. This reminds me of that time when I was in a financial issue. Gone. Get rid of that energy. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Because witchcraft is all about your brain and kind of tricking your brain, because you're very gullible. Humans are gullible. But you want to use it to your advantage, because that's how it works. I mean, telling yourself over and over again that something is going to happen is going to make it happen, because your subconscious picks it up and picks up those signals and pushes it to the forefront of your mind until it happens. So, if you tell yourself, this is good, this is good, this is good, if it genuinely is good, it'll be good. It's a good way to fight depression with witchcraft, as long as you are, like I usually say, it also works. You can't just say, I'm happy, and then do nothing. You have to make some changes, make that happiness happen. But, you can also do those rituals, do that manifestation work, and make it happen. Yeah, so it's like two different things, not just your brain, but also cycles of the universe. So, alright, I think that's plenty for today. Thank you for showing up once again. Feel free to support me, links down below, or just like and share. Have a great Wednesday.